News Panorama is a TV news magazine program that gives you the story behind the story.
It tells the stories the way they should be told by capturing the larger scale.
It deals with people's deep feelings on issues that, when brought to the fore, ultimately educates, informs, and entertains.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
This week on News Panorama, we take a look at the confirmation of commissioners in Cross River State, high prices of commodities, mental health, importance of acquiring skill in addition to university degree, and women participation in politics in Nigeria. Welcome and thanks for joining me on the program News Panorama. I am Josephine Efanga.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
If you have just tuned in, you are watching News Panorama. On July 27, 2023, the Cross River State Governor, Prince Basiotu, sent 26 names to the State Assembly for confirmation as commissioners in the State Executive Council. The nominees were screened and confirmed by the House. Esiana Wanene brings details. The report.
The State House of Assembly has confirmed nominees as commissioners into the State Executive Council. Their confirmation is sequel to a report presented to the House by the Chairman, Committee on Judiciary and Public Service Matters, Dr. Davis Eta. According to Dr. Eta, the legislature on July 27, 2023 received 26 nominees from the governor requesting their confirmation as commissioners in line with the 5th alteration, mandating the governor to submit the list to the legislature for confirmation within 60 days. He stated that the governor's nomination shows geographical spread across the 18 local government areas, adding that from their interaction with the nominees at the screening, they possess individual capabilities.
S/17/volume 1/372 dated 27 July 2023 and signed by His Excellency the Governor. The request was laid and accepted as a document of the House, and thereafter the nominees were referred to the House Committee on Judiciary, Public Service Matters, Public Petitions and Conflict Resolution for screening and to make recommendations to the House.
The Speaker, Mr. Elvet Ayambem, said with the confirmation of nominees and their subsequent swearing in, governance has kicked off in the state as the executive is the driver of government policies, urging those confirmed to serve the state well.
Resolution on the screening of nominees for consideration of appointment as commissioners and members of the State Executive Council. Right Honorable Davis Eta, Chairman.
For CRBC News Panorama, Esiana Wanene reporting.
The worry of the populace lately has been how the government can deploy a powerful incentive that can keep inflation in check. Prices of goods have skyrocketed, making consumers to lose their purchasing power. Ruth Marcos reports on the increase in prices of goods. The report.
The economic crisis in the country has left Cross Riverians and indeed all citizens of Nigeria into a quagmire as prices of goods and services have skyrocketed. Not surprisingly, this has made the nation's currency lose its purchasing power. It can be said that the current increase in the prices of goods and services have never been experienced in the last 2 decades. Consumers can only admire goods and services from a distance but lack the ability to buy, owing to the high cost of goods and services. This situation has left many Nigerians in diverse economic crisis and despair. In spite of this, some people are optimistic, believing that soon prices of goods will be beaten down to affordable rates. Some people, on the other hand, believe that this is a phase that has come to stay.
The inflation has brought on the cost of things, whether the working tools, fabrics are on a high side now. Inflation has caused a very high rise in price of working materials, fabrics, and a lot of things, and as such, customers that at some point are scared of sewing because the way we charge now is like ×2 of what we charge before now.
The rate of things now is very, very high, especially the price of things is very high. You go to the market now to buy goods, it's not like before. Like, let me say, a few years ago, we used to buy materials very cheap at a low price. but now it's no longer like that.
A cross-section of business owners in separate interviews lamented bitterly, saying the rise in the prices of goods and services have only left them in positions where they are forced to buy goods and services at high cost and end up making no gain. They stressed that people only want to afford goods and services at cheaper rates, while they themselves stand risks of great loss.
There are some things that are not supposed to be expensive and you find yourself buying them and there's nothing you can do about it. You still need to eat. You need to do what you're supposed to do.
All the buyers who can be described as final consumers drew a comparison between the situation of 2 years ago and now. They noted that the price of one thing bought today changes dramatically the next day, which has only left them in a position where their expenses outweigh income as a result of the high cost of things.
These days, consumers have lost their purchasing power owing to the inflation of prices of goods and services, which have only left the populace in agitations and worries. For CRBC News Panorama, I am Ruth Marcus.
Many Nigerians are currently depressed over the prevailing socio-economic and political circumstances in the country. They say is a risk and could lead to mental health if situation persists. Idong report on mental health as many identified poverty and unemployment coupled with the recent situation as a major contribution to mental health imbalance in Nigeria, the report.
Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It influences the way we think, feel, act, as well as determine how we relate with others and make choices, especially when one is stressed out. Of recent, depression and anxiety continue to be the leading causes of mental health disorder.
Mental is an issue that everybody should tackle personally. Look for what calms you down. Is it music? Is it games? So when you work, you will look for how to add places just to relax yourself.
Our mental health is more of the mind, more of the mindset, more of how happy a person is, how contented a person is, how satisfied a person is.
Research has it that mental health is not just about the brain, but the mind too. Exposure to unfavorable social, economic, geopolitical, and environmental circumstances, including poverty, violence, unemployment, and the recent harsh economic situation occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria, have not made things easy for the people. Many Nigerians have come up with possible ways to tackle issues relating to mental health challenges. These include readjusting one's mindset about current situation of things in the environment, amongst others.
Focus your mind on the positives. Don't give yourself to things that will trigger or remind you that more things they had. And most importantly for me, focus on the word of God. I'm telling you, focus on the word of God because that will help a whole lot.
First, I would say you should avoid conversations with people that bring up complaints that are always on the complaint side and then so I think that open your eyes to the negativity and all of that.
For News Panorama, I am Idong.
A degree from any reputable university or tertiary institution is certainly a valuable asset, especially so in the job market. But in the face of the dwindling economic situation in the country and indeed the global community, acquiring skills has become a must-do. That is why governments the world over are stressing the need for the youth to acquire skills. Blessing Basi takes us through the importance of skills acquisition in addition to university degree. The report.
In today's fast-paced and ever-changing job market, employers are often more interested in hiring persons with specific sets of skills rather than those who simply have a university degree. While a degree can certainly be a valuable asset, it is no longer the only determining factor when it comes to securing a job or advance in a career.
One of the main reasons learning a skill is more preferable to a university is because they are directly applicable to a job at hand.
A candidate with a degree may have a broad understanding of a subject, but without the specific skills needed to perform the job, such a person may struggle to succeed in the role. On the other hand, a candidate with the right set of skills, even if he or she does not have a degree, may be able to hit the ground running but make valuable contributions to the company. Another reason why skills are becoming more important than degrees is that the job market is constantly evolving with new technologies and methodologies being developed all the time. Consequently, many of the skills that we once considered essential may no longer be relevant. As a result, Employers are increasingly looking for persons who have the ability to learn quickly and adapt to new skills rather than those who have a degree in a specific field. There is surely no doubt that a university degree is important, but acquiring or learning a skill is more important, especially in the face of the current harsh economic realities.
Education plus skills is still the same and it's still good. You can still be going to school while still learning your handwork.
Both education and skill acquisition is also important. But the present predicament, the present situation in Nigerian system, skill acquisition gives you a job faster.
Some people finish school and some of them they don't even have skills. And there's some people that don't even go to school and they have a skill. You're learning on it. Time will come that you yourself, you become a madam. You have someone that will work under you too.
Going to school is okay, but you just need to add something. You need to add a skill to your academical requirements.
Additionally, a degree often refers to a broad category of knowledge, while skill referred to a specific ability or expertise, as employers are looking for specific skills in order to fill the exact needs of those of their company, instead of general knowledge that may not be as applicable. Research has shown that while a degree can still be an important asset for many job seekers, it is no longer the be-all and end-all when it comes to getting hired or advancing in a career. Some employers say they are increasingly looking for candidates with specific skills as they are directly applicable to the job and can help the company succeed.
Entrepreneurship skill is very important, because as I speak, so many of us are graduates and we are looking for a job to do. But at least those that have gotten a skill, they can sustain themselves for a moment while still are waiting for any opening.
Why? Because it has what I want. It's not all about the educational aspect. It's all about what you can offer in the business. How far you've gone in the business. What you can really bring to the table. Because educational aspect is always you can begin to school and you don't acquire anything. But you having the skills of what I really want, I think you're okay for what I want. So you can do business.
Those with university certificates, those ones maybe they have learned only the theoretical part of it. But if you have gone to a place that learn the skill, the practical will be more of the university, and I would love to employ those that are vested. Even though you've acquired a degree, if you have your practical certificates, which is the skill, the trade that you have learned, and you are vested with it, you know it inside out, I think that one is most preferable.
In today's job market, it is more important than ever to focus on developing a set of skills that are in demand in order to increase your chances of getting hired and advancing in your career at the same time. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Bassi reporting.
Women bring a unique perspective to the political arena. Their political representation is critical to ensuring that women's concerns are heard. Their participation can help break down gender stereotypes and promote equality, and their leadership can help bring about a more peaceful and stable world. Inyang Bassi x-rays the percentage of women in politics in Nigeria. The report.
Nigeria is Africa's most populous democracy, but has among the lowest number of women occupying political offices in the world. Since 2019, the number of women seeking positions in local and national elections has also fallen. The national average of women's political participation in Nigeria has remained 6.7% in elective and appointive positions, which is far below the global average of 22.5%. The state assistant women leader of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Cross River State, Mrs. Maria Ofiong, feels that the issues with women participation in politics involves a lot of women being intimidated by men. She identifies the financial challenges too as one of the reasons most women are discouraged from participating in politics. Mrs. Ofiong, however, advises women to go out and show their potential in the society, especially in politics.
What I think will deter a lot of women from taking active participation in politics, it's one, a lot of women have the fear for men. Some of them can't stand the sight of men running alongside with the men doing politics, probably doing election. And then financial instability causes the women too to fall apart and not able to run elections with the men. And intimidation sets in. The women might feel intimidated by the men if they are not given the opportunity to serve, to take part in any political race. So a lot of women have a lot of vices, like I've mentioned a few here, that sends them away from being part of these political activities.
Women have remained largely underrepresented in the realms of political power throughout Nigeria history since the beginning of the democracy in 1999. The outcome of recent elections in Nigeria reveals that women participation in elected and appointed offices has not only failed to increase, but appears to be on the decline. Members of the organization Women's Situation in Nigeria speak on the challenges affecting participation of women politics, such as equality, patriarchy, violence on women, transparency, and how to address these challenges to encourage women in Nigeria to freely participate in elections.
I know and I truly believe that women are ready to take up these positions, but the challenge is giving them the avenue to do it. And also one of the past aspirants was saying that most of when they hold this meeting, they already have a candidate, and that can usually who they feel they can maneuver, who they can be bossed over. So when you don't want to be there to boss over, they see you as a bad person. It's one thing for you to get a leadership position. It's another thing for you to be able to perform in that leadership position. So for those women that are ready, they have understanding that they can lead, they should be allowed to lead. We have such women.
Findings reveals that males constitute 94.2% of the members of the National Assembly from 1990 to 2015, while female participation remained at 5.8%. Others are still of the opinion that women are better managers of situations and more involved in the elections than the men, and should be allowed more participation in Nigerian politics.
Which is the third part, is actually in elective position. The system doesn't seem to support women's participation in elective positions. It is not about reducing the cost of funds. It is not about saying we give them 35%. It's about the selection process. For you to participate in an election, you need to win your primaries in a political party. And so the party structure itself does not favor women emerging as candidates in primaries. That's the first challenge they have. There's a lot of violence against women in politics. It manifests themselves in different ways. There's a lot of discrimination. You know, the men have taken over the space. They think the women cannot do it. They just say that because we're women, we don't have the brains. The number of issues are hindering the women from participating in politics. One of such is violence against women. Intimidations we get from the male counterparts. And naturally, a woman is a soft-minded being, and she wouldn't want to associate with anything called violence. And so if an enabling playground is not provided for election to take place, it becomes a threat for the woman to come out and contest or even participate in an election.
Despite all efforts to prove the contribution of women in the domain of politics and decision-making, women have continued to record low representation at all levels of governance, although they constitute almost half of the electorate. For CRBC News Panorama, I am Iyang Basi reporting.
That is all we have on our lineup this week. We hope to be back same time next week. I am Josephine Efanga.